Okay, there's another one. This restitution is one of the first ones made for Portugal by Georgeanos in '98, where he visited Torre de Palma in Alentejo and he said, well, this type of wine cellar is for wooden casks. Wooden casks started to be used for wine in the Roman Empire from the 2nd century until the end of the Roman Empire, and they wouldn't completely substitute Dolia. They would be complementary. In some cells you would have wooden casks, in some cells you would have the Dolia. In other cellars you would have both types of production. Here in Rome, a villa near Rome, where they produced with Dolia and with wooden casks. So finally, Dolia research today. So as I said, Dolia weren't that much studied in this area of the former Roman Empire, though in the last few years, and even in Gaul, even in France, even in Belgium, in the last few years, more and more colleagues have started working this theme. Charles Gard in France, Caroline Chung in Princeton, in the New World, and in 2022 we did a very large conference in Tarragona in Spain about Dolia. Here in the Iberian Peninsula, we had over 200 communications, and people start to understand this was a very important type of investment in a vessel. I worked mostly alone till a few years ago when I started working with colleagues from the University of Lisbon and University of Évora with the project Vilus, and we've been identifying Dolia, working the Lusitanian Dolia since 2021. And this year in the European Archaeology Association, there's going to be, for the first time, a conference. The model is not a conference, it's a conference, several conferences for Dolia, directed by my colleagues Paulina Kumar from Warsaw and Dimitri van Limberg from Ghent. Yeah, because when people talk about archaeology, they usually, well, archaeology, yeah, knowledge, very well, but what else? So there are quite a lot of experiments nowadays with enologists working, trying to restitute ancient winemaking techniques. Together is one of the most known ones in France, but also museums and associations are working on this type of.
It is the Taglia wine, so I don't use the term Dolia, but is for sure that is the same word, but is recognized as Taglia and Amphora. In the end, I hope that you can understand the difference between Taglia wine and Amphora wine. So I'm a small producer located in Vilalva, that is a small village with 500 people, close to Vila de Frades, other place where it's very common to find the Taglia wine as the old time. So we just started bottling, as it's the most modern thing that we are doing, is that we are bottling the Taglia wine. This is a small video that is from the wine commission that explains all the process, so I don't need to talk in English, so it's good. This video explains very well how is the process of the Taglia wine production and all the story, so, okay.
The process of making wine in tailors, or clay amphoras, has existed for more than 2,000 years, since Roman times. In Portugal, Alentejo is the only region that still keeps this millenary tradition alive. Here, the wine made in such pots, known as amphora wine, is a rich cultural heritage and is still part of the day-to-day lives of the local people. Making wine in amphoras is as simple and natural as the wine itself. As soon as the grapes arrive to the winery, they are totally or partially destemmed and crushed. This can take place either on traditional slated tables using crushing rolls or possibly by way of more modern electric grape crushers. The juice, the skins, and usually part of the stems are then placed into the clay amphoras, where fermentation spontaneously takes place. Once this process is underway, the cap, the thick mass of pulp and skins, is punched down twice a day with a wooden plunger. This movement pushes the skin down into the must, releasing color and other important compounds. It also keeps the cap from sealing the mouth of the amphora to help prevent the clay pot from exploding. It is important to maintain the must temperature low during fermentation to preserve the wine's aromas. The porosity of the amphora helps, as do dampened burlap or rags that are wrapped around the clay pots. Fermentation goes on for between 8 to 15 days, although it takes a bit longer for the cap to settle down to the bottom of the amphora. There, these solids will act as a natural filter when the wine is drawn off. The opening of the amphoras is a special moment throughout Alentejo. It traditionally takes place on the feast of Saint Martin, November the 11th. The batoque, the cork stopper that seals the opening near the base of the pot, is removed, and the clear filtered wine is either drawn off into a clay basin or it's served directly into a glass. The rest of the wine is then either transferred into smaller pots, bottled, or served directly from the original amphora by replacing the batoque with a wooden spout. Amphoras are unique to this region, and the local amphora wines are unmatched. Brimming over with character and with identity, they are an inseparable part of the bountiful cultural heritage that can be savored in Alentejo. Wines of Alentejo, naturally unique.
So I think it's a very nice video to show. It's a short video explaining all the process, because it's so easy that we can do a resume in just 1 minute. So this is a map from the vineyards from the 60s. So I would love to have the map from nowadays. So you can see that the vineyards that we have here in Alentejo in the 60s were only on Videira, Reguengos, Borba and Campo Maior. This means that it's mainly the regions that they usually produce the Talha wine. So not only started producing wines industrially in the 50s, 60s with cooperatives, and so then with the private sellers in the 70s later. That was the first private producers like Esporão and so on, the biggest ones. So then starting growing more vines, and even more it's almost already from south from Algarve to Lisbon region. Even Lisbon region is much more vineyards than the Alentejo. So I think this explains where was native the Talha wine and where it was produced. And every of these regions, they produce their own clay pots, their own talhas. So that's the regions where it was producing not only the Talha wine, but the recipient for the fermentation. So this is a vine that we have yet in around our village. So we have some vines with more than 70 years. So that is very common to find. This Alentejo is very different from the Alentejo that nowadays we have, with plenty of 100,000 hectares of vineyard all in a row. Here in our village and around, it's small parcels, small blocks, with about less than a half hectare. So that's why it's still being there, because it wasn't allowed to do a fund project to plant a new vines, because it wasn't the minimum size to do it. So we are happy that we have it yet, and so here we have everything already mixed. So these are the most typical grapes from the Talha wine, from almost all the Alentejo. So Antão Vaz, Roupeiro, Perrum, Diagalves, Larião and Mantiúdo in the white. So they are the most common grapes. Usually they are already mixed. It's a field blend of all these grapes. And in the reds we have Aragonês or Tinta Roriz or Tempranillo, Trincadeira or Tinta Amarela, Tinta Grossa. Tinta Grossa is very common from Vidigueira region. Usually we say that is Tinta da Nossa, that means ours red. So that's the translation. So that's all, we only can find it in Vidigueira region. Moreto and Castelão. Moreto is more for Amareleja and Castelão more for the Alto Alentejo, more to Campo Maior and so on. Already it's fermented, the grapes already settled down in the bottle, and so it's already doing a natural filter. So the only thing that I seen in the video before from the wine commission is that we don't take out the batok, the cork stopper. We do a hole on the cork stopper. So we are doing a hole on the cork stopper. So sometimes it's hard, but this time I can ensure that was easier. So this is a tap so that we take out. Sometimes there is, you see a small stick that we use. Sometimes it's blocked. When we take out it can be a lot of white, but usually the red it's easier. So and so you see it's already started. The grapes are settled on, so it's not just wine. So it's easy to take it. We put the tap. This is it's already with some leaves, but 30 minutes later it started the filtration, and so we will drink the wine very clean. So that's for 1,000 liters. Usually we take like 4 days to take all the wine from the Italian filter. So in quantity to enough for the exportation or so on, but everybody in our village, we produce our own wine and we drink and have a party between November until March, where everybody goes to each winery and tastes the wines. This is a winery where you see the tables with mainly white wine, and each one takes bread, cheese, anything.
So I'm Zurab Toporidze, I'm from Georgia, so having two small wineries, one in eastern Georgia, Cachete, another one in West Georgia in Guria. So have vineyards on both sides, both places, and then making wine in predominantly in Qvevris. Currently, I will talk about Georgia Qvevri, and as I was set up group by facilitator, so I will tell a story. Basic story. I will make a few key focuses of each area, and then we can talk and have a question and answers. And this is, I think, this one. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So, what is the Qvevri? I will touch that, and the history and legacy quickly. So, evolution by through the centuries, and current variations of the Qvevris. What are the difference between the regions of Georgia, and then practical sides and challenges and potential way forward. So I don't have any ambition that my suggestion is right, but just let's talk about it. Okay, so Qvevri with Q with K at the same. So there are some debates whether the Qvevri or Qvevri is right. So that's for us both are Qvevri, what you saw on the picture, and also known as Chuli. Chuli is the Western Georgian name of the Qvevri, and then you will see a bit difference also in terms of shape. So it is for the fermentation, for aging, for maturation of wine, but it is not for transportation. Usually in Georgia, Qvevris are not for transportation. Transportation was made during the centuries in the skin of, for example, and lamb, sheep skins and cattle skins and like this. flexible jugs. Normally quarries are buried in the ground, so they are buried in the ground, and in eastern Georgia, predominantly it is in the building, which it called marani. Actually, we call marani everywhere, but marani is associated with the building, whereas in West Georgia, predominantly, frequently, it is in the backyard, and it is an open air wineries. We call that marani also. When you go, for example, in the yard, you may not notice, but there are several quarries buried in the ground. So that's a little bit differences. However, I have building also in Georgia, and I was criticized by my friends why I built Eastern Georgian marani in Guria, but for what? Georgia is Georgia, and we can actually share all experiences. The very, very clear border, isn't there? This is the Lee, this is the Lee and Lecky. And this fine Lee acts as a pretty serious insulation between wine and these hard particles. That's why quite often 6 months macerated wines in Eastern Georgia are sometimes more round and more soft than 1 month macerated wines, because of exactly this type of labeling. And then we call the top wine, middle wine, and bottom wine. And in the tradition, sometimes we say when we are going to the guest to our friends, so we are saying, look, give us the middle wine. We don't want your top wine, or other way around. And this type of things, we can discuss about that. Achieving such quality of the wall of the fired clay with such microporosity, which does not allow bacteria penetration, but allows the only molecular oxygen exchange, it's very difficult to achieve. It is really hard to achieve, and in most cases in Georgia, that's the problem. And that's why quite often we are waxing our quarries. We think that when we wax it may help, but it helps, but not really perfectly helps, because a wax also, even if it is in liquid form, it is the pretty viscous. Viscosity is high, so wax is not able to penetrate in some micropores, and if then it is usually just comes out of the wall because it just sticks. It didn't penetrate into the hole. It comes out from the hole, so then all these pores are again open to the bacteria. So this is a big challenge, especially for us, for small producers. And I don't know if this could be the one of the way forward, something like just to build some big factories, at least 2, for East Georgia, West Georgia, with high technology, and then achieving this type of high quality ceramic, clay, pottery, let's say.
All about this Georgia thing, also, this movie is also important. And for a number of reasons that so we are a little bit late, I'm going to try to be as short as possible. But, and Kevin McKenna, which is from Louis Dressler, one of the greatest importers of wine in the world, and Kevin especially a fantastic person. So he introduced me to Jeremy Quinn, because Jeremy Quinn was probably one of the, I don't know the first, but one of the most prominent people in Chicago selling, let's not use natural, but wines with low intervention, was Didou, who says sincere wines. And part of that idea of, so he was working in a very famous, that he created a lot of fame for this place, for a wine bar restaurant in Chicago. And that created a trend, I think. So Kevin would say these things much better than me, because I know Jeremy, but not as well as Kevin. But in reality, I think this is the important thing to say, is that at a certain point in his life, Jeremy being, an awarded sommelier, I mean, I guess fucking earning a lot of money and so on, beautiful wife, and it's like the Talking Heads, you know, the song and all that. And he said, "This is not what I want," and so he went to live in Georgia for a couple of years. And when I saw this movie in Chicago, it was it was almost like today, because some Georgians came to Chicago for the premiere of the movie. Not as many as we have here today, I must say. But so I was watching the movie, and I'm really from living in a small village in the Douro, 100 people. I mean, Pedro lives in the same. Pedro that was here lives in the same village as me. So, and seeing the movie in Georgia was a little bit like remembering what was living in the Douro. You know, the same women going to bring water home in the same plastic jars and so on. So this movie is not really only about wine, but it's a movie about life, and about life out of our, you know, crazy cosmopolitan fucking world. So I think it's really interesting. Thank you.
During last 3 months, no rain, and it is a harvest period. So
არის დედა ბუძნის, შემდეგ ამ ბუძნს ისევ დედასთან ვაბრუნებთ, როგორც ბავშვი, რომელიც ახალი დაბადებულია და დედის ცით იპერება, ესე. It's like a mystery. იმდენად თავისსათარი ქონდა ქართული ადამიანი ქვევს, მარამს, ღვინოს, ბენას, იმდენად ორგანული შინით ქონდა სოციალურად შინდა ამაში და რომ არც წილი დაძებნა ამასე ჩვენი დროში. აზრად არ მოუვიდა არავის რომ ეს უნდა დაწევო წინათ და
Questo scelto non è per me, sarà خودیاشی رو کردن. چیزی از خودیاش رو بردیم. This is how he moves the wine from property by چند سواری شد. چند سال بتونی رو آخر تاریزگاه کرد. آواز تاریزگاه رو آرام کرده. نخلا واقعا خودش کوی رو آخر چند سواری شد. شب.
Help you if you want.
I would just hold like
Yes,
that.
because I taste many wines and don't film no one. It's stupid, no?
It is impossible to remember.
It's impossible.
No way.
Yeah, and especially your wines are so elegant.
Thank you very much.
Compliment.
I'm like kid. I'm like kid, you know. Always pleasure to hear that.
Thank you. So this one is Saperavi.
This one is Saperavi, 100% Saperavi from my vineyard of Eastern Georgia, Acheti. So in difference from the Tsuane, I didn't use here the stems. Okay, I really
All the grapes.
crushed and pressed Saperavi.
Okay.
You are crushing and then pressing.
Okay.
And juice went to the query.
Okay.
After that, I took from the must. I took only berries, only grapes, okay? And added to the query with the proportion approximately for every 100 liters of the juice, some like small like this, 6-7 liters of bucket full of berries.
Okay.
Only berries, not crushed. No, crushed berries. Added there. That's it. And then removed everything after 10 days.
10 days.
Correct.
Okay.
So, shortly saying, few berries, and removing it after 10 days.
Okay.
And this is my version of the sapera.
And then it stays in the
And this
quiver.
continues its fermentation, finishes everything, and this is then 1 year in the same brewery until bottling of the next year, August.
Okay.
I'm lucky that I have good brewery, otherwise 1 year in February.
But there are some saperavi with the other way, no? A lot of extraction. I try. You have to wait many years to drink.
In the bottle. And also, normally the red wines are made much longer maceration without stamps, namely without stamps, but longer.
No, this is fantastic. Very, very elegant.
That's actually, it's every winemaker, we talked about that last year, every winemaker makes wines which they like, the version of the wine which they like. So I'm very much lover of such wines. I don't like too heavy, tangy, so-called complex ones. That's it.
Fantastic. Compliments. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ô Vasco, nós aqui tomando vinho lá da Geórgia.
Do berço, né?
Do berço. Incrível, não? E aqui temos o que então?
Ora, temos aqui uma casta Rivi, é uma monocasta de 2021.
Ok.
Ela é apanhada, é vindimada ali final de setembro até 10 de outubro, mais ou menos. É pisado, entra as massas todas no queuri, fermenta, final de 3 semanas, final de fermentação, nós selamos as talhas e damos um estágio de no mínimo de 6 meses sobre massas. Final de 6 meses, no início da primavera, abrimos as talhas e...
São só as uvas, não tem engaço?
Tem, esta tem engaço.
Tem engaço
completo.
também?
Engaço, pele e a grainha.
Ok.
É tudo, toda a massa fica lá dentro.
Aí
durante 6 meses.
6 meses. Aí você abre e tira a massa.
Nós abrimos, não tiramos a massa. Nossas talhas tiramos a uva. Tiramos o vinho.
O líquido.
Por quê? Porque como as talhas estão enterradas, nós retiramos o vinho por cima.
Ok.
As massas já desceram. Então estes meus vinhos não são filtrados.
Ok.
É filtragem de gravidade. Durante 6 meses. Acaba por estar dentro da talha durante 7 meses. E quando tiramos o vinho por cima, quando chegamos às massas, paramos de retirar.
E aí você já engarrafa ele?
Aí engarrafamos diretamente, exatamente. Entramos no engarrafamento direto.
Maravilha. E esse está aqui em Portugal? Esse está em Portugal, né?
Este é em Portugal, sim. As duas castas, sim.
So, please, explain for me this wine, how you make, the name of the grape.
Yeah. So our wines are from eastern part of Georgia. The region is called Kakheti, and the appellation is called Protegritariat Zinandali. So our vineyard is located in this location. So this is the grape Katsiteli, one of the famous varieties, Georgian varieties.
Okay.
We make it in query. It's spontaneous fermentation. We do not use any bacteria or additional components in it. So it's skin contact period of this wine is 6-7 months.
6-7 months.
Yeah. We leave the skins. Yes.
Even the skins or only grapes?
Yes, yes.
Entire.
100% of skins.
Okay.
When the skin goes down, we will lock the query and open it in the spring. And we take the transparent wine from the top side.
Okay, fantastic.
This is the technology called old Kakhetian traditional technology. So you are tasting this wine now.
Fantastic. Thank you. Compliments.
Enjoy your taste.
Label.
You like the label?
Yeah, fantastic. Very nice.
This was a friend of mine. He was very talented architect and artist. He's not alive anymore. And when we were searching for the logo, my son refused on many things I have suggested, and then by accident he found in my desk these sketches.
Fantastic.
And he said, "Father, what we are looking for?" You know?
Beautiful. And even the wine is very beautiful. Compliments.
Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Thank you.
It is like that. So I kept it in English and changed it to English.
This is your, it's like the exhibition from you and doing it, and this is why.
Yeah.
And in Portuguese we say sometimes we need a bad start to a good end, and I hope that's what happened tonight. So again, it's my fault alone, and I apologize to all of you. Having Georgia here in Portugal, in Porto, is something that is really important for us, for more than wine, for the spirituality, for loving each other, for being friends, for being at the table and feeling emotions and trying to not only feel your emotions but feel emotions in a group, in a family. And of course, being the place in this planet where wine started, and most of us love wine, it's really important. And also, of course, thinking that a country that has been making wine for, I don't know, 6,000 or 8,000 years, some of the best wines they make it exactly as they did 6,000 or 8,000 years. So that's really unique. And we in Portugal have a little bit of a similarity with Talha in Alentejo. And part of the idea also of bringing Georgia was to, and we had a conference this afternoon, which the motto was comparing like two separate brothers that have been making wine in clay for thousands of years and separated for thousands of kilometers. So there is something about Portugal and Georgia that connects, that makes good things. So I'm going to ask. I have to say that the Georgian embassy they supported us incredibly. One of the great gifts you're going to have tonight, if not the biggest, is the ensemble that's going to sing after a few words from me and Mr. the Ambassador. And they are here because of Georgia. And so a big thank to you. And again, sorry for this, and let's try to make this a fantastic evening. Thank you, Georgia.
Oh!
we have something extraordinary that we already, I mean, fuck, if this music didn't fill your hearts and souls, I don't know what will. So thank you. But besides Georgia, I think it's almost unbelievable, it's incredible that 55 artists donated a piece of work. Some of them are here tonight. And together with that piece of work, 110 people that make wine gave bottles of wine, sometimes the first wine they made, the last wine the grandfather did, so wines that all have a special meaning to them. And that includes the Georgians. The Georgians send wine from Georgia in FedEx, whatever, to be here. And to make when you join one piece of art with a set of bottles of wine, because sometimes it's a magnum, a double magnum, 3 bottles, but when you put together with a piece of art 6 or 3 bottles from 2 different guys, you create a new piece of art. And I think that's what's magic about this auction, that so many people gave something that came from their souls, so that you can appreciate and I hope buy tonight. I'm not going to name the people that contributed I mean, we have like curators that helped, most of them are here tonight, so a big thank to everybody that put the artists to participate. Of course for the Vinho, and also some are here. And I have to do a very special thank to Georgeanos, please. Created this catalog that you're seeing and that is online from zero in a record time. I mean, I could not believe that he was kicking my ass at 3 in the morning and then at 7 again. Fuck. So, Aníbal into the Miranda is being, Faria is gonna conduct this auction, and honestly, we hope that the Georgia that filled your soul now can help you open your wallet. Thank you.
Acompanhada de 5 vinhos e vou ter de começar em 300 jata. 300 jata. 300 jata. 300 jata. 350. 350. 350. 350. Interesse mais. Vou vender 350 euros à raquete, número 34. Obrigado.